Hello again, welcome to the MoonLight version 06 release party. First of all, the brilliant intro you just saw is from a YouTuber called Can I Have a Go? I stole his footage for this video as this perfectly sets MoonLight in the right context. MoonLight is a Moon Modules product and MoonLight is extraterrestrial. So link down below to see the original, but let's build some MoonLight first. You just saw me building setups that you can currently make with MoonLight. Now we can really start, but first let me introduce myself. My name is Ewout and I build MoonLight. To understand MoonLight, you need to understand history, so I will make a journey with you through the last 4.5 years, as I believe about every step made contributed to what MoonLight is today. I did most of the coding of MoonLight myself, but during this period a lot of people contributed in many ways. I will introduce some of them in the history overview. After that I will introduce the MoonLight website and MoonLight on YouTube, so you can also become part of the journey. Finally I will take a look into the future, as there are a ton of ideas to further develop MoonLight, and many of these ideas were already born in the past. So history first. So it started during the pandemic. In 21 I built a camper van. Then I added some LEDs, bought my first DIC Uno board from Quinlet, ran WLED sound reactive on it, and I was a happy camper. I know something you don't know. WLED Sound Reactive was owned by Andrew Tulin, and it did not take long to get involved in the project. And Andrew was shifting his focus to playing the guitar, so he gave me the keys to the repository and I became the sole developer at that moment. At that time I met Harry Baas on Discord and we started extending 2D support, and we were really in a flow to make great things. You see a few examples here. We made the WLED Acme effect and made it possible to add effects on top of each other. So Acme from Hell is a very good example of that. By the end of 21, Harry and I came with the name Moon Modules. You can see here the very moment we got the ID. Harry Baas then disappeared and SoftHack 007 came. At that time Harry and I sold ESP32 shields from Sergey, and SoftHack took over from Harry, and he also improved the audio reactive capabilities by a lot. Then WLED got interested in our 2D and audio reactive software, and SoftHack and I worked together with Blazoncheck to move this to WLED, and this became the 014 release of WLED. But WLED Sound Reactive became obsolete then, and as WLED is a very big project, we were bound by the rules of this project, so we felt that we lost our freedom, and WLED MM, which stands for Moon Modules, was born and still exists today and is used by a lot of people. And as WLED is born in Germany, we compared WLED with a decent Mercedes and WLED MM with a highly tuned Mercedes AMG. I show you the pictures behind me. So I can recommend to take a look at the WLED MM help pages, and I add a link down below, as MoonLight has used and will use a lot of the IDs which were born here. At that time, Moon Modules became a safe haven to do more than WLED allowed, and Netminds, Søren and Troy joined MoonLight as well then. And then Troy invited me to Burning Man. And that changed my life. And I made a radical decision to build new lighting software from scratch, and Starlight, the predecessor of MoonLight, was born then. MoonLight is Starlight with a better user interface, as it became clear the way the user interface was set up in Starlight was not future-proof. You see what I mean if you look behind me. So I found the ESP32 Svelte kit from T-Limbs, which has a modern reactive UI framework, and MoonLight was born by the end of 24. So this was another radical decision, as basically everything from Starlight was rewritten, but it turned out to be a very good decision, as not only the user interface improved, but also the underlying concepts are way better implemented now. So next to the people mentioned earlier, let me finish this overview by listing some of the other contributions made to MoonLight. You can see it behind me. Here we are now. MoonLight 06 is available, and in terms of German cars, it looks like this. MoonLight 06 is the first version which is stable and mature enough to be used as a solid platform for future growth. I showed you earlier that you can build some MoonLight, but it doesn't mean it is a finished product. A lot of things will be added in the future, and there will be bugs as well, but we will fix that. But there is a website with documentation, there is an easy installer, and there are YouTube tutorials. I decided to make videos and explain the why, the what, and the how. So the why is explained in the MoonLight introduction video, the what in the functionality video, and the how in the install video. But then there is also a developer quick start tutorial, and everybody with an ID and a little programming experience can extend MoonLight. This video shows how to do that. I invite you to take a look at these videos, and if you have questions or ideas, you can add a comment in this video, or you can find us on Discord or Reddit. And you can find links to the YouTube tutorials and also to Discord and Reddit below. Let's look into the future now. For me, the most important goal for the future is to build a MoonLight community. I told earlier that MoonLight is now a solid platform for further growth. And you saw in the introduction video, MoonLight is for homes, for artists, and for stages. So these are the main groups of users who can benefit from MoonLight, and I'd like to share some of the plans for each of them. And of course, all type of users will benefit from these plans. So for home users, integration with Home Assistant, and also we are currently working on an infrared driver for remote control. Then for artists, there will be more effects, more modifiers and more layouts, and also more sensor drivers, which allow for interactive art installations like gyro, heartbeat, microphone, and so on. And there will come live scripts to make it easier to create these effects and layouts and so on. Also multiple layers for more complex effects, and SuperSync to synchronize multiple MoonLight devices, and support for MIDI controller to control these devices. For stages, there will be DMX in, so MoonLight can be controlled from lighting desks. And there will be line-in audio, so you can also drive that for audio reactive effects. And finally, ESP32 P4 support and support for virtual drivers to really have very large installations with more than 10,000 LEDs. So in addition to these user groups, there's also plenty of fun for software and hardware developers. We are specifically looking for people who want to help with UI improvements. There is a lot of potential for better design and better styling. MoonLight makes extensive use of the fast LED library for effects and LED control. But there's much more we can explore. Fast LED effects, tuning of LED drivers, audio support, and so on. Then MoonLight in a box, as one objective is to offer ready-to-use controllers. For this we need boards and boxes. So starting with boards, we will develop board presets for specific hardware, so lights can be connected instantly without extra setup and without needing specific MoonLight firmware for each board. So I showed earlier the surge shields. There is also HP Witt who built boards for his virtual driver with 48 output pins, driving 12,000 LEDs at 100 frames per second. You see them there. And I've experimented with the M5 Stack Atom S3R, which can also become a nice starter kit. Limpkin has his SE16 board, which has 16 output pins. And I recently received about the complete product catalog from Quinlet. And Quinlet is the de facto standard for boards that don't set your house on fire. So there is the DIG Uno, there is the DIG Quad board. Let's see, there is the Penta board, complete box actually, to drive analog LEDs. Then there is the Quinlet flagship product, which is a stack of multiple power boards and brain boards. So yes, we definitely will support these boards. So then there are boxes. See here some 3D printed boxes I made, but there are also a lot of designs out there, especially for the Quinlet boards. So we will prepare default setups for specific designs. So once again, if you'd like to participate, leave a comment on this video or find us on Discord or Reddit. This concludes the MoonLight 06 release party. We will end with a bit of MoonLight in concert. So thanks for watching.